we've got the Bristol Beaufighter, and this one is TFX. I don't really know what that means, but I think the instructions will tell me. Airfix 1/72, and you get a choice of two markings and camouflage styles. This one, I was tempted by that one, but it's pretty much standard British, whereas that at least is slightly different. I know it's grey, but if you look at that, you can see you can get some really nice texture, and aircraft that had anything to do with the sea get hammered by the salt water, as do the ships, and so this could be some opportunity for some weathering fun. Now, I weathered the Tornado to death, and I quite enjoyed it, so I might do a bit more. And the stuff on the box, usual detail stuff. Oh, we are not going to have the wheels down on this one. This is such a good looking, gorgeous, sleek, aerodynamic, wonderfully harmonious piece of design that it has got to have the wheels up. So I've prepared in advance because I usually have so much trouble getting the box lid off, and there we have the parts. This isn't going to go easy, is it? But I've cut that anyway. But also usual instructions. Yep. And a lot of tiddly markings, and a couple of big ones upside down, but we won't worry about that. I'll lay out the parts and have a look. There's our parts, and lots of tiddly bits, but a good few nice big bold sections. It's good to have something sturdy to hang all the tiddly bits off, if nothing else. Lots in the way of rocket launcher, which I could have done with when I was doing the Typhoon and its disasters. Two very clear figures. The light's not I've got a shaky hand all of a sudden. The light isn't perfect. Let's see if I can zoom in. Look at the crispness of that. That's very good. Shame they're both exactly the same. And a good few clear bits. So, time to spray it grey. I will admit I've lost track of where we were up to, so anyway, here we are with the two sides done, a little bit of painting, and then basically we've got to do the wings. So that's where I'm up to, and oops, onto the wings. This looks simple enough, doesn't it? But I can get this kind of thing wrong. Wings on, it all went well really, although there's an awful lot of stresses and strains going in different directions, and I ended up holding the wings by hand, squeezing there and pushing in on both sides, so both hands pushing inwards and clamping the wings down, because I just wanted to spring open a little, even though I had these the underside and the top side under an awful lot of weight for quite a while. When it came down to this, they wanted to spring up. A little bit gappy down the back edge there on both sides as well, but that's just a tiny fraction, probably less than a millimetre. The only reason I'm saying it is because it's such a well designed model, I'm surprised there's any gaps at all. So well done. There is this horrible little dimple here actually, which is quite disturbing. Isn't it? Yeah, it's kind of, I could do with something a bit bigger to really get me teeth into, Well, there it is. We'll see how it goes. But yep, wings on, coming along nicely. Very interesting engine cowlings. I said on the white, on the kind of ghastly zombie model of a white, that I don't like constructing rings or circuits made out of several parts, because in effect there's nothing to anchor them onto. To make matters worse, these are designed to have gaps. Ooh, no, there you go, get an idea. And it's all there in the instructions, but there we go. So I'll let those, I'm treating them really harshly, but I'm letting them dry. And also wings and, ooh, a little bit messy there. Wings on, and then control surfaces. I will have to deal with that. So while I did all that previous stuff, went to bed, came back in the morning thinking everything was fine, and look, all of that has really sprung. So, I have to go back over that then. The wings are proving the most difficult section. Turns out you're much better off doing it like this. There we go. Not, I'm starting to lose a bit of patience. This isn't as smooth as all of the other up-to-date Airfix models that I've made. Just a bit fussy around, you know, this, the engines and the wings. It's just not quite there, and that I'm surprised by. Look at all those horrible seams on the nose as well. Yeah, Airfix have been doing better than this. And that's the basic paint job. There's actually 4 shades of grey, if you include that very dark base coat, and slight highlighting and lightening towards the front leading edges and along the dorsal line along there, just to suggest a little bit of wear. It's all very noisy, wasn't it? And it's all looking a bit matte. May have to get the old gloss varnish out before you know it. But got to do a bit of work on the underside. But then once I've smoothed all that out, it's back to putting things on. Nearly there. At last, most of the parts are on, only the small fiddly bits to go. I think I said that earlier, but never mind. So now, what I've got to do is put the black and white bands on, and then the markings, and then go a little bit weathering and put the tiddly bits on. I think I know what I'm doing. It was sunny a minute ago, now it's cold and windy. Still a good sky to show this off again. Still got a few bits to do, bit of tidying up, put the torpedo on, but here it is, almost done. Yeah, what a horrible background. Oh well, we'll have to see what happens later. Quick before the sun goes in. I'm a bit caught out by this. There we are then. What more can I say? Well, probably a lot actually, but here we go. Just to get a view of it over the wide open seas. Yeah, I'll have to think of something in a minute and come back to you. Oh look, the sun's really coming out now. Well, let's talk about the colour then. I used the correct colour, which shouldn't come as any great surprise really, should it? but I wanted it to look well sea-worn, all the sea air getting up onto this thing. So not only have I kind of done a bit of mucky weathering, but I've put a lighter, bluer grey on. Then I've done a wash of a dark, not dark, kind of horrible green, and then I've put an even bluer shade over the top. Just here and there that might come out, just as highlighting. And finally I've put a wash of just dark muck overall, and that way we get, I mean, I let it run along these panel lines along here. It's really enjoyed itself and really got stuck in. So fair enough, that's good. I'm really happy with the colour and the finish. I did similar on the underside, and as we've got a torpedo, it's worth a look. So the official colour, then I took that colour and added white and highlighted, and then I run some muck into it. The muck got a bit much at times, so I then took the original colour and kind of dry brushed over that a bit. So there we have a finish that a colour finish that I'm well happy with. For a change, I'm getting a little bit happier with finishes that I do. It's a little bit more like what I've got in mind, although I went a bit far with this one, I must admit. Didn't want it to look quite as rough. But now I've done it, I'm like, oh, that's alright then. Oh, I've got to do the little yellow tips. Anyway, that will do for now. We'll have to do without the yellow tips on the propellers because the light's going to go. And I'd like to get this kind of in the light because we're not going to get any for a couple of days after this. So there it is. Now, let's think about the model. Well, the fuselage was pretty good. Actually, it was excellent. The interior is superb and all of that. But the wings and the engines were very unhappy. I mean, when I say very unhappy, that's unfair. There were some problems, and you might expect them. The model has two problems. One is that there's a number of bits that are difficult around the wings and the engine, but that is made a real problem because Airfix models are so blooming good at the moment. So that it's strange, isn't it? If this was from some other manufacturer, I'd be saying, yeah, it's absolutely great, brilliant, go and get it. If it were from Hella, I'd be saying it was a masterpiece and their best. But because it's Airfix, my expectations are just too high. So I'm being niggly now. Anyway, just look at the back edge of the cockpit canopy. Look how much that juts out. The other side is perfect. He says, you know what I mean, if I have made it fit on this side, but it juts out there, and if you were to sand that down, there'd be nothing left, because there's actually a little gap between that corner and the fuselage itself. So there's all these little things. I've left that, I mean, I'm being honest here with myself and my own feeble model making. Talking about honesty with model making, did you see all the crusty paint? Ooh, nice one. All the crusty paint along the back of the fuselage. Anyway, also this happy little spike here fits in the hole, but it was terribly wobbly, and it kept moving this way and that. And I don't know if you noticed in the first shot where there's no boat, the first shot of the completed model where there's no Scharnhorst. I'd ended up shoving it about so much it had migrated and the hole where it belongs was visible, so I've just dumped a bit of glue on. So there's actually some work to be done yet. Never mind. Anyway, there it is. It is one of, I think, one of the most aesthetically pleasing, beautiful aircraft ever built, to be quite honest. Except the engines are massive and they block out the rather nice profile. See what I mean? Pardon me. See what I mean? You can't see the lovely nose. There we go. So, in summary, a great aircraft, a beautiful aircraft, and a really good model with just a couple of issues. I haven't done that bit either. I'll get back to this. Anyway, so, great aircraft, beautiful aircraft, very, very good model. Did I enjoy it? Actually, yes, I did. And the little trials and tribulations add to the fun, don't they? Would I recommend it? Certainly would. And did it come out the way I intended? Yes, actually. That is the finish I wanted. A little bit grubbier than it deserves. But it is just pretty much somewhat very close to the way I wanted it to be. Yeah, I'm alright with it. Suits me. What do you know? Perhaps it needs a coat of gloss varnish, just a thin one. But we'll bring it to a close there, and I'll treat it to these last little bits and pieces getting done. Who knows? Maybe we'll see it another day in relation to some other model. Wasn't this in an Airfix dogfight double? What was it fighting against? Messerschmitt? Have to look that up. That was a quick blot from the memory. Still, there we go. Lovely stuff. I enjoyed it. I hope it's not too horrible for you. And there we are with one of my favourite aircraft. Actually, this is the first model aircraft I made myself. Not this one, but I went out and bought the Airfix one of these, I should think about 1960 something, late 60s, and built it, and had the wheels down, and one of the wheels just wouldn't stay, so it looked like it had crash landed, and the camouflage I painted on it when I was about 6 or 7 was atrocious. Never mind. Slight improvement then. Yeah, no comments on that, thank you. Anyway, there we go. Hopefully there'll be another one along shortly. So yeah, thanks for watching. More soon, as I like to say.